Yeah, let's open the project here. So, what you learned about these events in JavaScript actually? For example, I am typing here some JOHN. So now, how many keys press? 3 keys only press, not 4, because key press is the event that fires up when you finish a key. Currently, my cursor is in N. That means I haven't finished N. So it will be only 3. So when you put a space, now it will consider as 4. That is what actually key press. Key press is recognized when you finish a key and you key in a new key. That means when you finish one character and come out of that character, then it is recognized as key press. So if your cursor is still in N, then 3 keys pressed, 4 keys up. Key up is recognized immediately after the character is typed. That means once the character is finished, typed, immediately key up and key down will fire up. Key down will first fire up, after that key up will fire up. But key press will not fire up. Key press will fire up after you finish the key means you complete it, you type another, that means now it will recognize as 4. A is not finished. So if you don't know this basic and you try to write key events, it will misfire in various occasions. You will expect something, but it will not work. So developer need to know exactly when to use key up, key down, and when to use key press. So generally when to use key up, key down, when you are dealing with the characters typed by user, then you have to use key up, key down. When you are dealing with the code of characters typed by user, not with characters, the code of characters, then you have to use key press. Why cannot we use key press for characters? You cannot use because the characters can be recognized only after key up and key down. Why? When to use key press? When you are dealing with code. Every character have a code. If you are dealing with that code, then code means ASCII codes. If you are dealing with the code, then key press. Why not key up, key down with for codes? Key up, key down you cannot use for code because the code of character will be recognized only after you finish the character. That means the character code will be identified only when you finish the character. Only when you finish the character code will be identified. In that case, what should happen? You cannot use key up, key down if you are dealing with codes. You have to use key press because key press will fire up after you finish, right? So these all general basics you learned in JavaScript. So key up and key down are used when we have to, are used when developer have to handle the characters, when developer have to handle the characters. So key press is used when developer have to handle the character code. So the character code is nothing but ASCII code of the character. So when you are dealing with characters, so the key code and the character code. Key up, key down, and key press. What happens if you wrongly use them? Let's see the situation. If you wrongly use them, what will happen, right? So let's keep a simple component. So key demo and key demo.jsx. Okay, so here export function key demo. And let's create a simple design. So what we will do here is we will create a simple registration form like. So here we will design a container and here we will ask for register user and here we have a user name and this is like username, a text box, input type is text. Now we have a data definition below. Now what should happen here is when user enters the username, we have to verify is that name available or not, because usernames can be taken by some other users. You should take some username which is not taken by others. For example, we are having some data. Let's put some data in public. We will put a new file, users.json. We are creating a JSON file. And in this, we are configuring some array of objects. In that, we have a user name. One username is John. Okay. Another, we have username as some John12. Another username we have like John NIT like this. So we have another username like some David, all this. Now I have to make sure that the username entered is not matching with any of these. If a new person who is registering, the username must be a new name other than these four. If he enters any of these four, it should say username taken, try another. If not, it should say username available. That's the concept. And if user is entering JOHN, then it is taken. He entered one extra character, one, it is available. He entered another character, two, then it is taken. That means for every character it should verify. Because even a single character difference, it may be available. So that means we need to verify for every character he is entering. We cannot wait until he type everything, because even one character difference may be available. So we have to verify for every character. So in that case, we can go with these key events. Let's see what happens if we wrongly use the events without knowing them, right? I will use this now, key demo. Let's keep this in startup. Okay. The key demo is in the startup. So we have this registered username. Now when user is entering the username, I have to verify from the data we have. Then that means it is present in a separate JSON file. So to get the data from JSON and verify, I am writing a function. So handle user name. Okay. This must be used by this text box. For every character it should use. Then what we have to do, here we are writing on key up. I'm using key up. On key up, handle username. Why key up? Why not key press? Let's see the difference. The problem I will tell you here. Now, what this username have to do? First, get the data and verify whether the value entered in text box is matching with the data or not. How to collect the value from this text box? By using an event argument. Here we don't use any DOM methods, get element by ID, right? We access the values entered in those elements by using event arguments. By using event arguments, we collect the data. There is no DOM method here, document get element by ID, or query selector, or class names and all. We have to use the event arguments. Okay. Now, how to get the data? Axios. I'm importing axios.get from where? From users.json. Then, if it is successful, then we have to collect the response. And this response data is nothing but it is an array. Response data is array of users. That response data contains a JSON data. So what we will do is, we will write here a simple condition for your understanding sake, for var user of response dot data, because response data contains users. This response data contains the collection of users. From that we are accessing every user. We are using every user. You know what is off and in. You know two operators na, for in and for off. What is for in? It is used to read all the properties. For off is used to read all the values from an array. To read all the properties. Properties means what? For in will read 0, 1, 2, 3. That means to read all the keys, you have to use for in. To read all the values, you have to use for off. So you know that. Now we are reading every user. Every user is an object actually. Every user is an object that have a key called user name. So what we are doing, if user dot user name is matching with what? E dot target dot value. That means the value entered in the text box. Because this E is referring to a text box element. this is binded with a text box element. If it is matching with the value entered in the text box, then what should happen? We should display some message. So we will create a constant, and here we say msg set ms, or say user error, set user error. Okay, use state, that is a string type, and what we have to set user error as username taken, and try another. That is the message we need to display. After that, we need to break, we need to stop, because it is an iterator. Otherwise, what should happen? Else, set user error, it should say username available. That is the message we have to give. If username is taken, then it should display this message. If not, then username available. So we are reading the data from users and we are verifying every user. We are checking every username is matching with the value you entered in the text box. If it is matching, then taken. And it is going to fire up this for every character immediately, for every character. Let's see. Now I will go here and click and start typing username. So J, so it should show available. Where to show the message? Message must be shown here, right? Here I will put user error. That is where message is present. I want to show the message there. Okay. You are typing here. Initially, I click, you started typing username available. JOHN. Then it says taken. Try another. John 1, it is available. John 1, 2, it is taken. For every character, it should verify. And now you know how to manage the color. If username is taken, then the message should be in red color. If it is available, the message should be in green color. How you will change? So how you will change the color of this particular definition? It should dynamically change. It is not a standard one. It should dynamically change. That means now you have to implement class binding or style binding is like techniques, right? Because it should change dynamically, green and red. So for example, for that, now what we are doing, later you will learn simple methods, right? First here, what we are doing, a constant, we will say is user valid, is user valid, set is user valid. So use state, by default it is false, means we given a boolean, by default is user valid is false. Now that means user is not valid. What should happen when this there, set is user valid as false, because it is not valid. Available means it is valid. That means set is user valid as what? True. That means if user is taken, valid is false. Available, valid is true. Now here we will put a color. How we bind the color? We will use class name. Class binding, we need a dynamic expression. In the dynamic expression, we put a ternary operator. In the ternary operator is user valid, it returns a boolean. If it is true, then What is the class to apply? Class to apply, text success. Bootstrap have a class called text success. Currently our application is using Bootstrap. And otherwise, what is the class we have to apply? Text danger. If valid is true, success. Otherwise, danger. So dynamically you will change the class for them. That's what we need to implement. Now, this is very important. Now I am entering some John available. JOHN, it is taken. And I entered John 1, then it is available. So John 1, 2, it is taken. For example, I entered John, it is taken. John underscore available. John underscore NI available. NIT, it is taken. For every character, it is verifying. That means I am entering here David. DAVI, it's available. David, it is taken. We are verifying from the data source. From a JSON file, we are verifying and we are accessing that. Now see what happens if you use a wrong event. What is the wrong event? Using key press is a wrong event for this. Because here you are verifying the character entered. Then key up is the correct. Key down, key up are the correct. So here, if you try key press, and automatically IntelliSense, see it shows a strikeout. That is happening through latest version. Earlier we don't have that. React 18 comes with a good error handling concept. That means more advanced error handling is supported in React 18, which was not there earlier. That means earlier lot of issues will be resolved and identified dynamically at runtime. Then developers have a problem like developers unable to understand the issue until or unless they run the application. Before running the application, several options it is unable to handle. It handles at the runtime, which is not a great idea. So that is the reason in React 18 they added a new error library. Through that they can easily identify while compiling itself. While user typing, when developer is typing, it will verify. These facilities were not there earlier and limited. They were there but limited. But now React 18, if anybody asks, tell me some features of 18. I already given some features. I will later give you difference. 17, 18 features I will give once we finish. And when anyone asks, tell me some React 18 features. And in top 5 features, good error handling is the major one. Actually, they claim this as their second level feature. Means React community officially says that our new 18 is very good in error handling. They claim that as more priority, high priority in their recent features. So the point is now it is saying that it will work, but it is showing something which is not pleasing for developer because it is saying that better not to use this. So better not to use this. It is marked as deprecated. Marked as deprecated means they are recommending that don't use this anymore. In future, it will not be available. Deprecated warnings for versions are nothing but warning the developers that as of now they will work. In future releases, we will completely disable this. So as of now, it will work, no problem. But in future releases, they completely may remove this. Then when you try to use this, it will say key press not found. Now it is working. It's okay, fine. That means they haven't removed. They marked for deprecation. So that means they marked for deletion. See now, I am entering J. So it says available. You may feel like, oh, then it's working fine. But see what we will do now. We will enter J, O, H and N, but still it has to keep this available. So that means usually what happens is when you are typing this, it is showing available. It is available taken. It is working fine. But this is not a great idea in future because key press will be verified only after you enter the key. Due to that, what happens is this you can detailedly see because they deprecated this. They will not show you the performance of this. I will show you the performance of this, where we can see the performance of this. In general HTML, I will show you the performance of this. For example, because they are almost removed this feature now. They recommend that don't use. It will work, but don't use this anymore. Let's see here. Input type is what? Text. ID is some user name. Okay, I will put here a paragraph. And what is the event we are writing on? Key up. First I will write key up. So verify user. Means I will show you in JavaScript because there it is working. Here they deprecated that, right? Just difference you need to understand. Why they don't recommend that key press, right? I will show here. What is it? Fetch. Fetch from public. In public there is a folder. There is users what? JSON. So dot then. So response dot what? JSON. Dot then users, and here we have to write for for where user of what? Users. We are reading every user and we are writing if user dot user name is matching with the username entered in text box. How we can collect the where username document dot get element by ID username dot what value. Okay, if it is matching with username, then we should display in the paragraph document dot query selector paragraph inner HTML. We should display taken. Okay, and break. Otherwise, document query selector paragraph inner HTML, it is what? Available. Okay, that's the logic we are writing. I will show you why it is not preferred to use key press here. Currently we are using key up. So now here we are entering the username, entering some username, then it is available, then it is taken. That's good, it is working. This is in your general JavaScript, right? Now see the events issue. What is the problem with this? On key, what we are using? Press. On key press. On key press, what we are doing now here. So John, available, JOHN, it is still available, but it is already taken. This will fail when it goes to the actual DOM. You have seen in the virtual DOM it's working, but when it goes to the actual DOM, it will fail. That means virtual DOM is showing that it is available, but in actual DOM it is failed. That is not available. That is already taken. That means when I submit, it will show an error saying that it is already taken. Why it is not showing taken? Because N is not finished. When N is finished, when you press a space, now it says that taken. That's not a great idea. That is not a great idea. So never use that when you are dealing with the keys, characters. When you are dealing with the characters, we better use key up or what? Key down. Only when you are dealing with the code of character codes, then you can go with what? Key press. But in React, they don't recommend even key press anymore. Then how to verify the code of character they are typing? How we can verify the code of character they are typing? We can verify the code of character they are typing. Actually, React can verify the character code by using key event properties. Key event properties. What are the key event properties? You know, key event properties like we have key code, we have char code, am I right? We have like which, we have like shift key, we have like control key, CTRL key, we have like alt key. These are important. That means these are the properties we mostly use with the keys. That means to verify what is the code of character they entered. Actually, in JavaScript and jQuery and other JavaScript based technologies, you can use key code, character code to verify the code. But in React, this key code, character code, it is unable to verify in across various browsers. And generally, you know that in JavaScript, which is better than key code and character code because it is understandable to many browser engines. Some browser engines don't understand the key codes and character codes. They can understand which. That is the reason a JavaScript developer will write for all three because they don't know in which browser they use. They write if key code is this or key code char code is this or which is this, like that. That means to verify one, they have to write three because we are not sure in which browser they will use. I hope you know in CSS also. In CSS, if you are writing some styles and if you want your styles to work in every browser, generally what you do? You use the CSS plugins. What are those CSS plugins? You have WebKit plugin, we have Mozilla plugin, you have an Opera plugin, you have an Microsoft plugin. You have to use these plugins, you know that. Without that, it will not, because actually one option is enough, but that may not be recognized in every browser. In that case, what we have to do? We have to write for all browsers. To verify the code, this key code is enough, but some engines cannot recognize. That's the reason React recommends to use which for verifying the code. Across all engines, it is better, right? So technically, what we have to do here is see, in this example, what is the better recommended option? Don't use the key press. You have to use always what? On key up. We have to use the key. That's the better option. And if you are dealing with the codes, when you are dealing with the codes, then what you have to do? You have to use another one. For example, where we use the codes means this is not just only for username and all. Here we are dealing with the characters. For example, let's put another one, that is password. And here we put a data definition. Input type is password, and here password we are defining as on, this is on key up, handle password. Handle password is the function, and here a data definition we will keep a span. So class BI exclamation triangle angle. Okay, triangle text warning. So here we will put a message saying that so caps on. That's the design we created here. Handle password is not there. We'll write a function handle password. Okay. Now handle password. Okay. Now you see this is the option available. I will clean up this data. Yeah. Now here what should happen is while user is typing the password, when user is typing the password, if accidentally capital letter entered, it should show this message. Right? That means now we have to verify whether it is a capital letter or not. So how do we verify whether it is a capital letter or not? If you can get the code of the character, you can verify. That means, so here I will use another state, constant. So show password error, set password error, PWD error, show password error, set password error. So here use state. And here what we will do is, so we will keep it as what by default, we will put a style, inline style, showing and hiding. So what is the showing and hiding? We can say D none. D none means display none, display none. That means show password error is D none. So here we will put a class and class name dynamically. So here we will put as what? Show password error. D none means display none. Display none means it is not showing. When it should show, when user is entering the password, while entering the password, accidentally if capital letter comes, then it should show that word. That's what we need to implement. Then how do we do that? That means how you manage that functionality, how you handle the functionality. So what we have to do now, we have to verify on key up. On key up, here we are verifying. So E, we will collect the character. But how do we know whether the character is an uppercase letter or a lowercase letter? So we will write a simple condition. If E dot target dot value, that means the value that they entered. So that is nothing but the value. So we need to get the code of that character. How you get the code of that character? You learned so many JavaScript string functions, no? Don't remember anything. You have JavaScript string functions like char at, char code at. And then what you are thinking? Right? That means how do we get the code of the character? We have two techniques. That means what we have to do is, so that means here we have to use e dot which means what? Which character they have entered. So for your understanding sake, first I will log the message. Console log e dot what? Which. You see now, here I am logging that message. Inspect, and let's go to the console. And in the console, so here I am typing some characters here. You can see I am typing, it gets the code. gets the code. But very important here is 65 is not the code of a lowercase. It is not the code of a lowercase. Actually, it is showing lowercase. That's a wrong code, because 65 to 90 is an uppercase, and uppercase A, it is showing 65. Uppercase A is not, uppercase A is 65, lowercase is not 65. That means it is showing what is the concept here. The key up, currently which event you are using here. Key up event you are using here. What key up event is using, it is verifying the character. It is not verifying its code. That is the reason you entered lowercase a, uppercase a. It says 65 only. How it can be same? It cannot be same. So what is the correct event for here as actually key press? Key press is going to identify the code correctly. That means here you see now, suppose I am entering some here and I entered A. You see this is lowercase a. I entered uppercase A 65. That is better. That is correct. So uppercase A 65 to 90. Lowercase a 65 to 90, uppercase. Lowercase means 97 to 120. So it changes. That means if say lowercase z 122. 97 to 122 lowercase, 65 to 90 it is uppercase. You will get completely wrong values if you are using key up or key down. Key up or key down. That means key up, key down are not good for verifying the codes. But you are saying that this is deprecated in future. Then what you do? You have to use string functions. What are those string functions? Key code and char code. You learned JavaScript string functions. What are the string functions? Char code at. Char code at. Char code at means it will return the code of the character at specific index. Based on that, you can do. So technically, if it is currently possible, then what is the key press option we can use? Handle password. So here we need to verify. What we have to verify? If e dot which is greater than or equal to 65 and e dot which is less than or equal to what? 90, then what is it? It is uppercase letter. 65 to 90 means it is uppercase letter. If it is uppercase letter, set password error. Set password error should be D block. D block is nothing but display block. Otherwise, set password error must be D none. D none is display none. Display none means hide. Display block means show. Right? Now you see here. Now I am typing some password. That means we are typing some password here. We are typing some password. When I am typing the password, so everything looks fine. There is no problem. But accidentally I entered some uppercase letter. It shows caps on. It shows caps on. And I removed that and it will be okay. It will be okay. I entered a capital letter. It will show that caps on. Anyway, you can enter capital letter through caps lock, through shift key, or through alt key, through any key, capital letter is entered. Then it will recognize and it will differ. So why we cannot use key press, key up, key down for this? Because key up, key down cannot recognize the correct code of the characters. So if this is deprecated in future, currently it is available. If it is deprecated in future, then no problem. We have to do that alternatively by using string functions. What are the string functions? Char at, char code at, char codet is used to get the code of the character. Based on that, we need to verify. So that is important. So developer should exactly know so which one to use. So if you misuse the events, it will not execute in the same way how you are expecting. It will work, but it will not be in the same way how you are expecting. It will misfire. That's the reason these events are very important to understand and handle, right? So this is a simple concept of key related. Now, actually in validations, lot of things are done by using key up and key down. Key up and key down. That means by using key up, key down, key press, all these are done. Majority validations are done by using this. For example, I written only one simple condition actually. There will be several conditions. For example, if username is not entered, then what it should show? It should say username required. If username is entered, then it should verify is it taken or available. Then what? Then what? You have to write condition. Every question solution is code, logic. Every question solution is logic. Without writing logic, how it will work? For everything, you have to write a logic. That means what you need to do, suppose here. So you are verifying the user. If username is not entered at all, it is empty. It is empty. Then no need to do all this. Am I right?
No.
No need to do all this. What we have to do, we have to write a condition. If e dot target dot value is equal to empty, there is no value at all, then what should happen? Set user error saying that user name required. And what set user what else is valid? So is set is user valid is what? False. User valid is false. Then else what should happen? Else what should happen? This all should happen. That means Axios should get and it should verify the details and enter. That means it should not show the message until or unless they entered something. That means if there is not entering anything, then it should say username required. If they are entering, then it should display the message username available. So, and this David, so that means it should say username taken. Or everything condition is required. Everything condition is required. For example, now for password you return. For password you return this. Password what you return is capital letter is on, it will show a warning. I need to verify the password. Password must be 4 to 15 characters with at least one special character. Then, so password must be 4 to 15 characters with at least one special character. Then you have to use a regular expression. You learned how to write regular expressions. You know how do we write regular expressions in JavaScript, right? HTML, JavaScript will teach you patterns, meta characters, quantifiers, and you have to implement. Now, when to verify? Once they finish, then I have to verify that password is not having what we required. Then we will say, is it a strong password? Is it a weak password? Right? How do we do that? How you verify whether it is a strong password or a weak password and display the message? For that, everything you have to manage through events. Events. Let's see one example for that. First, let me copy this. Okay, this I am copying for your example sake. This is key demo dot what JSX. In this example, I used key codes, character codes, and verifying the characters. But for this, we created some data actually. What is the data? Users dot what JSON. In users JSON, we maintained some data. That's important. and you need to keep this user's JSON always in a public folder, right? Okay, now I will show you some more points. Because see, in web development, in front-end web development, especially designing user interface, there is no interface in the world for any application without validation. That means any user input requires validation. And validation means you have to handle through various events. Through various events. Like all these events are important to handle validation. That means user clicked inside and without typing came out. Then I should show a message saying that please enter. While typing, I have to verify. These all requires events. That means you should have a good knowledge of these events to handle the perfect validations, right? So, and let's see this example. Suppose we are using for password, right? Let's do another one. Means I will clean up this. Yeah. So I will just clean up all this. I will keep a simple option. Means we are creating another simple option to understand the patterns, right? So here we will keep a heading like user. So verify password. Okay, let's put it input type is equal to password. Fine. Now I need to verify the password. Whatever the password entered, I should verify. And we have certain requirement for the password. That means password must be 4 to 15 characters with at least one uppercase letter. If it is not, we need to show various messages like weak password, strong password, poor password, like messages we need to configure. Then how do we do that? We need to verify while typing the password, or we have to verify once he finished the password. We need to verify while typing or once he finished. If you want to verify once he finished, then you can use, so you can use element state events. What are the element state events? Element state events. What are the element state events? We have element state events like on blur. We have like what? On focus. On focus. We have like on change. On change. These comes under element state events. So blur indicates the actions to perform when element loses the focus. On focus means when element get the focus. On change means an element value is changing. These are related to element state events. Different types of state events will be there. On blur, on focus, on change. These are state events. You can write on key up, key down, or blur. For example, I want to verify the password. When user clicks inside the password, that means when user clicks inside the password box, I need I need to I need to show them a message tip how the password should be. When clicked inside it, I need to show them a tip. Then what we have to do? So we will put a state, a constant. So that is message, set message is equal to use state. It's a string. When user clicks inside, that means we have a function. So handle blur, and a handle focus actually, because when click inside means focus. When click inside, then what we are doing here, we are writing on focus. On focus, handle focus. What we have to do is we have to put a message. That means, so here set MSG saying that, so password 4 to 15 characters with at least one uppercase letter. Uppercase letter. That's what the tip we are defining. For your understanding sake, what I am typing, I will put it as a text. Okay. Right. So that you can see what I am typing there. Just you click inside. So that means we will refresh here. Yeah. We click inside and we start typing something inside it. That means now it is fine. But what should happen is when you click on that, that message should display below. That means you put the message below. So below I will keep a div. In the div we will put a message MSG. Now see what happens immediately. I will give the message. Yeah. And you see I refresh. As of now there is nothing. I click inside it, then it will show the tip. On blur, it should hide this tip. So on blur, it should hide the tip. Then again, what we have to do? So function, so handle what? Blur. On blur, it should hide. How it will hide this? That means what we have to do, simply set message, we will keep empty. We will not put any message. And what we have to do on blur? On blur, it should handle blur. Handle blur function should be there. That means when I click inside, it will show me the tip. And when I click outside, it will hide it. That means the toggling of messages on state. On focus, this will be there. On click, it will be disappeared. And very important is here, while typing, I should verify whether the password is matching with what I asked. Then what we have to do, we have to write for every character, then on key up. On key up. So handle key up. Just I am giving handle key up. Okay. We will write a function here. So we will configure a function and handle key up. On that, what we have to do is collect the value they are entering and verify is this value is matching with the required pattern. And how do you write the pattern? So you know how do we write the pattern? If e dot target dot value is matching with a regular expression. How do you write regular expression? Regular expression is written in 2 slashes. You have to write regular expression in slash slash. And how do we write the regular expression? Question mark equal dot star square a hyphen z. And here slash w and 4 comma. So 15. Like this, we are configuring some regular expression. So that is how we are defining a regular expression. But it is showing some error here. It is showing some error. Actually, this is the regular expression. You can see the condition will return always false because this is reference. And you know, regular expression is not verified by using equal. You learned. Regular expressions are never verified with equal. How regular expressions are verified in JavaScript? By using a method called match. Regular expressions are not verified by using equal. You learned JavaScript string. How to verify regular expression with a string? You should not equal. It should what? Match. Match with this regular expression. That is what you have to write. The value you entered should match with this regular expression. If it is matching with regular expression, what we will do? So we will put here, we will put set message as strong password. Strong password. That is what we are using. If it is not matching, else if it is not matching. Else what we will do here, if it is not matching, then we will write another condition. If e dot target dot value dot length is less than 4, that means it is not even matching minimum requirement, then set message we will put as poor password. Otherwise, else if it is more than 4 but still it is not matching the expression, then what should happen? Set message as what? Weak password. These are the messages we are configuring. That means, is it a strong password? Is it a weak password? Is it a poor password? That means according to our requirement, what we mentioned here is according to the requirement. You click inside 4 to 15 characters with at least one uppercase letter. I started typing, then poor password. Minimum 4 characters entered. Minimum 4 characters entered. That means it's still a weak password. So, still a weak password. At least one uppercase letter entered, then it is a strong password. I just made it as input type text. You make it as password just to verify what characters we are typing. That means you verify by using regular expressions. Regular expression. I click outside, then you see this, it shows click outside, hide the message. You click inside, then it shows the warning. And important is you are typing here, so then it is showing weak password. You are removing these minimum 4 characters, then it is poor password. You can use everything what you learned in UI. That means what you learned in the presentations in HTML, CSS. Suppose I want to show a bar. I want to show a bar. That bar will show 10%, 50%, 100%. How you will do that? Of course, you learn progress bars. You know meter controls. In HTML, you learn meter. In HTML, you learn progress. Right? We can implement that. That means if I want to show this, how much happening, you learned in HTML. What you learned in HTML? You learned in HTML, we have elements like meter. Am I right? Meter is a element. You can put a meter there. A meter will be there. So if you want more better, then you can create a div class name as progress. Progress. Actually, this progress is nothing but this is related to Bootstrap. Progress is related to Bootstrap. This is more complex because this progress can have animated, this can have effects, right? You can add more better appearance. But traditional HTML is what? Traditional HTML will allow you meter. We can just use a meter. And for example, the style for this meter, I will just give a width of this meter. And yeah, so 100 pixel is the meter width. So 200 pixel is the meter width. Let's look okay. And okay, this fine. So height, suppose 20 pixel. Okay, that's fine. Now what happens is, I'm just using reasonably. Now what should happen in that meter? I need to show, right? So how do we show the meter? How you apply the effects for this meter? Actually, to apply the effects for the meter, you know how many values are required for meter? 3 values are required: min, max, value. And it also have a low high for colors. If you want colors, you can use low high values also. Now how do you change the values? That means we need to set up 3 values. right? How do we set up those three values? That means you need three values to change. Actually, here always meter have min. Min is equal to 1, and max is equal to suppose 100. Now the value for meter, so here I will use a constant. So meter value, so set meter value, and use state. By default it is 1. By default meter value is 1, starting with 1, minimum is 1. Now what happens is, if it is strong password, set meter value will be 100. If it is poor password, set meter value will be suppose 20. If it is weak password, then set meter value will be 70. Like this we are giving. That means we are changing the meter value. This value should be used here. It should use the meter value. That means we have value. Value is dynamically coming from meter value. Meter value is sending the value. Dynamically the value of meter will be changing now. That means now here you clicked inside, it shows some message, and you are typing now. When you are typing, then it says poor password. Minimum 4 characters entered, then it is a weak password. So at least one uppercase letter is entered, then it is a strong password. Through a meter we define that. We remove the uppercase letter and we remove these minimum 4 characters. You can even change the colors. You know, meter have colors like low, high values you can define. You can use better by using progress bar. Progress bar in Bootstrap will give strips. It will give animated strips. You can put in a better way. Even this message, you can keep it inside the bar, because that is not possible with meter or progress of HTML. Those messages you can define inside if you are using a Bootstrap one, right? This is technically how these events are managed. So this keyboard events and element state events. In element state events, we will see another example. On change already we learned. Two-way binding means compulsory you need to use on change. But with on change, we will try to implement a lengthy example, very complex example. We will try to create a like online shopping with these various types of events from some real-time API, and we will design that we using these events. That we will see tomorrow. Right, in tomorrow's session, we will discuss about that concept. Tomorrow, Sunday now, because many people are still not available, then we will again have session on Monday. Actually, we can plan for Sunday session, but still people are not available. Next Sunday, we will plan a session so that we can continue, right? Then we will again have a session on Monday. Monday will continue. Okay. Monday we will design one example by using these events. Okay. Right. Yes, Samir, what is your doubt?
Hello, Sudhakar sir.
Yes.
I'm from UI full stack batch, not from React batch.
Which batch?
UI full stack. The
Wait,
same from August.
so what?
I'm not from React, but recently I got one job from Cognizant.
Okay.
I'm attending the office now. It's getting hefty with this session here and in.
Then you talk to admin. He will suggest you
Can I
all
get can I get the
possibilities.
videos?
No, you have to talk to admin. He will suggest you all the possibilities. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right. Yeah.